Welcome everyone. Great to have you here. I'm really excited to be with you for your placement unit. I'm Siobhan and I know that some of you also have Kim as your ELA. She'll be along throughout our other collaborates to meet with you. This is just a short one to take you through your preparing for professional experience unit. There might be a couple of new items that you're not aware of, so we're just going to go through a few of these slides and set you up on your way. So let's get to it. The first slide looks at an acceptance of placement declaration. I do believe that this is actually a new add-in to the unit. So the link is here for you to refer to. So you just need to click on that. I can't, it won't let me in. I've already tried. I've had a couple of takes for this recording, so I won't go there again. Down here on the left-hand banner, you'll find all the other placement resources. So there's some things like acceptance of placement, an example cover letter, letter of introduction, mentor teacher requirements letter, professional experience placement handbook, and a couple of other items there. So that's for you to have a look at. And then the placement acceptance of placement declaration just gives you some items to read through that set expectations, and then that you adhere to these things. Okay, I'll leave that for you to read through. If you ever have any questions, just post them on the discussion board and we can address those. Next slide, we're going to plan. Okay, so some further documentation that you need to have prepared to take with you on your placement for your mentor teacher is a copy of the Placement Expectations and Requirements Pack, the Professional Experience Handbook, and those two can be found at this link, your lesson plan or learning plan template, an observation record sheet, and then read through all the above information. So just make sure that you're aware of what details are within those before you hand them over. And then also ensure that you meet with your mentor teacher prior to the commencement of your placement and then present them with the above documentation. It's also a really good way for you to set the rapport and also to clearly outline the expectations that you need to fulfill for your assessments in the next few weeks, and then also so that your mentor teacher is aware of their role and of your role too. So it's a nice way to sort of start the discussion. Okay, we'll move on. Sorry, my screen's cut off there with the top of it, but it just says lesson observation and lesson preparation. I'll post the PowerPoint too so that you can have a look through it. So you need to observe a significant number of lessons or learning experiences, routines, interactions, teaching techniques in your classroom. So please refer to the link there for that one. Ensure that your professional notes are taken when observing. So this is the observation record sheet for that. Make sure that you're prepared for placement expectations and provide your mentor teacher with written plans for all lessons or learning experience at least one day before. I know that can be a little bit tricky when you have a lot of things on, but it's actually one of those things that you need to have done not only for your mentor teacher, but also for your preparation. So once you've gone through your lesson plan, then you need to know what things that you need to get organised, and that can often take longer than, if you maybe need some resources such as a couple of books that you might need to find, or some resources around the school for a maths or numeracy session that you need to find. So to give yourself that time, you need to have those lesson plans prepared early. And then also the placement expectations are located in the student portal under education placements in the placement resource tab. So it's there for you to explore. Now, the next slide says school life involvement and professional behaviour. So just a couple of things that you need to be aware of when you're entering into a professional school placement, school and classroom setting. So you need to become fully involved in the life of the educational setting, and here's some ways that you can do that. Attend staff and planning meetings. Sometimes you may not be needed, but please leave that up to the teacher or staff member or leadership team to let you know. So you need to be there prepared to attend, but if they say to you, look, you don't really need to come, you can go off and do some planning, or you can head off for the day, that's quite all right, but I wouldn't be asking that yourself. Taking in professional development opportunities. Sometimes there's a lot of internal professional development that happens. That's really great to take opportunity. You may have a curriculum day that you can attend, and then you may have external professional development on offer. So jump at any of that you can. It's good learning for all of us. Completing YAR duty. Now, most teachers will have 2 to 3, if not 4 sessions a week. Just depends on the school population and staffing numbers. Use yard duty to your advantage. So when you're out there, observe the children playing, interact with the children, just make sure that you really get to know them really well. Watching them out in the yard is a perfect way to do that. It's always a good one too when you're looking at things like behaviour management, just to watch and observe how teachers do what they do, and it's always a learning experience. So yard duty shouldn't be seen as a drudgery, but something that's actually a really good way to hone your skills. And I often really liked it because it was a way that I could just watch to see what was going on between different friendship groups and just to see how those dynamics are going out in the yard. So yeah, it's a nice sneaky way to find out what's happening. Participate in staff room conversations and conversation with other staff members. Once you're in a new placement, it can take a few weeks or even a few days to make sure that you sort of find your feet. But once you've got some people that you feel comfortable with, having those conversations are really important, asking good questions, enjoying the conversation throughout the lunch hour and then the meetings as well. So just being involved is really important. We don't want to see you sitting down the end of the staff room not talking to anyone. So just make sure that you're approachable. Your professional behaviour. Demonstrate professional behaviour while undertaking industry placements, fieldwork, and respect of the privacy of the client, any commercial information made available. So it's just something that, go back to the code of conduct and those things are covered in there. Student charter. Failure to adhere these charter expectations may result in failure of your units. So just make sure that you're very clear on what the expectations are, school policy, and all those other avenues. So what is your understanding of professional behaviour? Think about professional dress, school policies, professional conversations, appropriate language, and school involvement. And also things like social media. Mentor-teacher feedback. So throughout your practicum, your mentor teacher will provide you with constructive feedback. It is crucial that you take on board all the feedback that they provide in order for you to develop your skills as a teacher. So sometimes that can actually be a little confronting. Not all lessons run well. Sometimes we make decisions under pressure that may not be the right outcomes. And to receive feedback that actually points that out can often be a little bit upsetting, and that's understandable. So what we need to do as pre-service teachers is just be prepared to have those conversations and then ask questions. So if a teacher suggests that perhaps you could have done it a different way, maybe then ask the teacher, okay, could you explain to me how you would do it? So this is the continuous feedback loop that we've got here for you to refer to. So assess, modify, plan, implement. Assess, modify, plan, implement. So it's continuous. We never stop. And as a really experienced teacher, I can totally understand that sometimes you might think, oh, gee, that lesson didn't go the way I thought it would. It looked great on paper, but then when I came to do it, it just didn't work and I wasn't really quite sure what to do. As you become more experienced, you can tell quite early that the lesson's not going to work, and you actually get really good at sidetracking it or moving it back, or actually starting refreshing it, and off you go again. So it is continuous. We're always learning, and it's just about being able to rise over the hiccups and then move forward. And it should be a supported experience. So if you are feeling perhaps that you might be a little, what's the word, what would be a good word to say? A little unsupported perhaps by your mentor teacher, there may be someone else that you can go and speak to, or please come back to your ELA and post it on the discussion board and we can workshop it from our end. Okay, let's move on. So the next slide reads at the top, Professional Experience Assessment Report. So I know that you can't see that because the line for the thing cuts it off. So with that one, your placement and your mentor teacher is responsible for assessing you against the AITSL, Australian Professional Standards for Teachers and Graduate Standards. There are 7 standards, which I'm sure you're well aware of. Each standard has a number of different focus areas, which are outlined in the Professional Assessment Report. So all these things are connected to the Australian standards, and you will be very familiar with them as you go right through your teaching career, because we even use them right up to leading teacher level. So you won't be alone. And your teachers will actually know them really well too. So have a talk to your mentor and see how they've addressed each one. The professional practice videos are terrific if you haven't had a good look at those. So they're a great one. They don't have them for all the standards, but they do give a bit of an outline and some good guiding questions. So then you have your interim assessment report. So the completion of the interim assessment report is an important stage of your placement. Your mentor or teacher assesses you against this point to provide you an indication of your performance. So that way, if there are any areas that you need to really consider improving upon within the next part of your placement, that's something that will sort of flag that. Make sure that you have signed copies for both of your reports. You're expected to submit the signed copy of both your interim report and final report to your ELA via the unit, and that's in the assessment section. And then your mentor teacher is also required to submit a copy of both reports to the placements team, and they'll be sent a link to do this. So that just makes sure that things don't go missing, because once it does, it's really hard to track. So let's just make sure we keep on top of all those pieces of important evidence. So we've made our way to the end. That's nearly 11 minutes. Any questions or things that you would like to clarify on your professional experience? Use the discussion board to ask any questions, and we'll be with you every step of the way. So all the best. I will be seeing you soon, and thank you so much for listening.